Well, here's a recent update when it comes to ZBCN. Nothing I say is financial advice. However, very recently, ZBCN had a 20% movement in the past 24 hours. But before I get into that, I first want to talk about how allegedly and supposedly officially Zebec has apparently joined the Natural Alliance. Now, what is the Natural Alliance, right? If I take a look at something like just NACHA more specifically, it is allegedly something that governs the ACH network. Now, if we take a look at it, why is this, I think, something that I even want to take a look at? It's because the ACH network seems to be pretty massive because this supposedly is the $85 trillion ACH network in the US. So I find that pretty interesting. And allegedly, from what I can see from what Zebec posted, they are joining major industry players like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, even something like Circle. And again, if someone's familiar with Zebec, I think they'll understand how Circle is a backer when it comes to Zebec. They supposedly hold a pretty big amount of ZBCN, and not to mention, they are the creator of USDC. But besides that point, when I take a look at this, again, through something like this, Zebec is again joining others like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, again, Circle. So I find it pretty interesting. So when people like to tell me, Zebec's not really doing anything. Well, isn't this kind of impressive, I suppose? But yeah, that's just besides the point. This is the way to take a look at it. But yeah, could this hypothetically have caused this around 20% movement I saw in the past 24 hours? I mean, maybe, but who knows, right? I mean, the thing for me is that sometimes things can just randomly do something, because if we take a look at what Zebec did not too long ago when it comes to the case of Privy, which is part of Stripe, when I take a look at something like that, is it pretty significant in terms of its achievement? In terms of its achievement, I should say. I would say yeah, but it didn't really do anything when it comes to ZBCN. And right now I'm seeing even other altcoins have sort of this 10, 15% movement, but ZBCN has been pretty impressive in the past 24 hours, comparatively speaking, even though clearly it's not doing the best. Because, keep in mind, ZBCN is still around 34 and a half times lower than 10 cents, but actually it's not bad considering how, pretty much just very recently, right, before what I saw, what happened to the price of ZBCN, it was around 40 times lower than 10 cents. So now it's at least not around 40 times lower, but who knows? Who knows what's going to be the case next week, next month, or something like that. But sometimes seeing these type of movements, it keeps me a little bit, I guess, enthusiastic, because there hasn't really been much as of late when it comes to the altcoin space. It's just been very boring. So when I take a look at something like this, I'm pretty, I guess, happy to see, even though it hasn't really been that significant in the grand scheme of things. I mean, if I just take a look at it, I'm going to have to take a look, in the screen, so I'm going to have to look down for a bit. But besides that, when I take a look at, in the case of ZBCN, the market cap is still way better back in November, right? Comparatively to right now. In November, it was around 320 million. Now, even still, despite this, it's still around 230 million range. It hasn't really been even that significant. However, I think this kind of showcases that because so little things have happened as of late when it comes to the altcoin space, just because things have been looking so boring, seeing something like this, it's a little bit, I think, a breath of fresh air. Even despite this, ZBCN was still doing better back in November, and that's just a month ago. But then again, I think something like this showcases that, when it comes to this movement, I'm not going to complain, I guess, because if anything, I think it showcases just how much ZBCN has gone down, which in my perspective, okay, I get it. It's not really that good in the short term. But personally for me, because I am dollar cost averaging once a month, if let's say I do sometimes see things kind of have a movement where it's not that positive, I'm not necessarily going to complain, because my hypothetical intention is to dollar cost average. And I think more so what this kind of showcases as of late is that I'm never going to be able to know what's going to happen. If I'm not going to be able to know things exactly like that, what am I going to do? I'm still going to stay patient and just hold. That's it, because I'll never be able to know what's going to happen. Personally, for me, if let's say, I believe in a project, I am not in the mindset that, oh, I need to find the perfect time. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect time for me. I'm never going to be able to do that, right? I'm never going to be able to find that. So it's just all about, I think in my case, staying patient, even though I am not telling anyone to do anything. But, who knows? We'll see what happens when it comes to ZBCN heading into 2026. As of right now, I'm just going to stay patient and just wait. And that's pretty much about it. But I wanted to make an updated video real quick talking about Zebec's recent announcement, I suppose, and it's an update, I guess, when it comes to Zebec, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to ZBCN tomorrow, if this is going to be sustained or not, this movement, if it's going to have a pullback, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'll be sure to make an updated video when it comes to that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.